So I'm here at Microair Avionics with David. Thank you very much for taking a little bit of time. These guys are slammed, and so we're just going to make this a real short video. All the information is available on the website, which I will have linked in the description. But I wanted to give you a quick taste of these incredible products that Microair Avionics has here at Oshkosh. Okay, so Dave, maybe just give us a quick run through of this. Like I said, people can get the engineering. I sat here for an hour and a half long demo yesterday. The engineering on these products is incredible. But I just want to give you a quick hit for a taste, and then you can check out the rest on the website.
Perfect. I'm going to apologise first for my voice. I've been talking a lot all week. So
I'm sure you have.
So everyone listening, I'm really sorry about my voice. So what we do, we've been in the business for 27 years. We've been making certified radiation transponders. Most people have flown an N760 radio at some point. We've got about 15,000 of them in the US.
Wow.
It's been an incredible selling radio for a very long time. But about 4 years ago, we embarked on the journey of reinventing our product. And what we did is we took our radio, which was this form factor, and we shrunk it down to be a third of the size. So this is now our VHF COM in this module here, 16-watt transmitter, 8.33 channel spacing for Europe, and with a fully digital intercom, which I'll come back to. We also did the same with our transponder. So this is a Modex transponder, ADSB in and out, 1090 ADSB, in this 1/3 slot here.
Wow.
And in the middle, which I think is a really cool bit, we built a triple redundant air data computer, a triple redundant AHRS, that's our attitude heading reference system. So in there's 3 sets of gyros, there's 3 sets of magnetometers, and there's a GPS position source.
Wow.
And so what that means is that this one box, it provides everything that you would want on a standard panel. Now for high-level RFA, you're going to want to put a battery. We have a battery module. There's a whole lot of things you build out from that, but there's a starting point. That is your avionics suite.
Amazing.
And so,
amazing.
So what you have here is one of these. You feel the weight of that. It's it's nice and light.
Yes.
And that's even lighter because that's a remote display. And then if we can see in the back of here, this is our display panel for the show. We have one of these units.
Yeah.
And then we have 5 of these remote displays. Now this unit can be mounted as it is here on the panel. It can also be remotely mounted. So if you've got a really narrow panel, then the only depth you require is these instruments, plus obviously the depth of the wire bend for the harness. We supply all the harnesses. You tell us what length you want, from 6 inches, 1 foot, and then 1 foot increments all the way up to 22 feet.
Wow,
so,
nice.
Completely flexible, takes all of the wiring hassle out of, a lot of our customers are builders. And most builders, whilst they've got great hand skills, they're really good at riveting, they're really good at cutting metal. When it gets to wiring, it's probably not their core skill. Some of them it is. I don't want to be rude about those. Right. But as a general rule, they're looking for something that's easy to install.
Yeah.
And avionics is complex.
It doesn't get much easier than this. I mean, this is incredible.
Our aim was that we do complex stuff. How do we make it simple to install and simple to use?
Yeah, yeah.
And so the other thing that we do is obviously we have a single part number for all these displays, and they're completely configurable. So you decide what your display you want, what your display wants to be. We have customers that like digital displays, so we have digital versions of all of these. So hugely configurable, but also, and I'll talk a bit more. But also our engine monitor displays here. We got random data on there at the moment. You wouldn't want to fly that engine, would you? But to a compact face where you've got full view of not only the engine but your fuel quantity and all of your fuel.
Wow, amazing.
Which probably brings us onto this device, which we launched here. This is what we call our engine and systems interface. So it is an engine monitor, but it's a bit more as well. So.
The engine monitoring unit is pretty complex, so we're going to review the details later on in the video.
And you mentioned to me that you just came out with a new product that was asked for last year, now it's shipping. Maybe you can talk about that briefly.
Sure. So at the last show, a number of our STOL customers, the short takeoff landing customers, came to us and said, look, love everything you've got here. What we need is an angle of attack sensor. And so we went, okay, great, we'll take on the challenge. So we developed this device, and we went a little bit further. So this is a pitot port-static port, angle of attack underneath. It's got an air temperature port here, but it also has, so again, triple redundant air data computer, dual sensors on the angle of attack, so we can always sense whether we've got a failure. So we know the key is always never to provide anything misleading to a pilot. So we're very, very conscious of that. But a full AHRS in the back of this as well.
Oh wow!
So this unit, with a single cable, from drive, full six-pack from this one unit. It's available today. It's obviously available experimental and LSA, but it's also available for any certified aeroplane under the NORSE provision, so the non-operation required safety enhancing equipment.
Okay.
So you can put all of this on as standby instruments.
Okay.
You can't take operational credit for it, but you can
Yeah.
put it all on and run it from this probe, and it ships with an aluminum plate. It's a mask, everything you need to install it,
Nice.
other than the circuit breakers.
Yeah,
Just
that's
hook
awesome.
Hook up power to it, and you get a full system. So that's a really cool product. 120 watt heater to meet all the icing requirements. 12 or 24 volt option. Digital controls, so you turn it. Unlike an older airplane where you have to judge when you turn the pitot on. You turn it on, leave it, reach at 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 degrees Celsius for those metric customers that might watch it. And just holds that temperature.
Okay.
So you're not having to worry about it. You just leave it, you install it, and turn it on, and just leave it running.
That's awesome. Wow.
There's options. So
The engineering in your products is so phenomenal. I love the way you really think through your solutions.
Yeah,
It really is incredible.
Yeah, no, we've got a great team of engineers who are doing some fantastic work.
Yeah.
So really proud of what we're able to achieve.
So, where do you go for more information?
But if you're looking at this after Oshkosh, then Microair.aero.
Okay,
is our
and I'll put the
website.
link in my description. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wealth of information there. We're always adding more information.
Okay.
And if we can't find what you're interested in, reach out to us. And
All
we're very happy to help anyone with any configuration.
hey, thanks a lot, Dave. I really appreciate your
Appreciate
time
it.
here at Oshkosh. Talk to you guys later.
Appreciate it.
Okay, if you stayed with us this long, let's get back to the details on the engine management system interface.
So one of the cool things about this is that you mount it through the firewall. So traditionally an engine monitor is mounted on the cold side of the firewall. You put a hole in the firewall, you pass all your sensors through, and you terminate them on the cold side, which is great. The downside to that is if you're ever going to change the engine, you've got to go and remove every sensor from the engine before you can take the engine off. So if you're going to go and just go change the head or do anything else and you want to do it off wing, it's quite a time-consuming job to unplug those sensors. What this allows you to do is wire your engine on the stand, wheel the engine across, attach it, and then simply plug it in.
Wow, amazing.
And so that's on the hot side. On the cold, so obviously the hot side is all the things you'd expect: 6 AHRS, 6 EGT, five other temperatures you can do. Obviously all temp and whatever.
So it'll do either 4 or 6 cylinder.
4 or 6 cylinder engine.
Okay.
CAN bus is there for the Rotax engines. Now we do from electrical power. We do voltage and current monitoring both for the alternator and the battery. We do the battery on the hot side or the cold side because there's different configurations out there. We do fuel flow on both the cold side and the hot side because again there's different configurations out there. So really flexible. And on the cold side, in addition to what I just said, we've got four different fuel tank inputs. So obviously left and right, ops and main, whatever you want to configure that to. But we've also got 6 just inputs and out, 6 inputs, 6 outputs that you can use for anything. Any system voltage between 0 and whatever your system voltage is, so 12 or 28, or a ground seeking switch. So if you want to go and put in your landing gear position, maybe you're up and stowed and unsafe. Your flat position sensor in whatever format that's in. Door locks. It doesn't matter. Any information around the aeroplane you can bring into this and then display on the display.
Yeah.
And likewise, you can control things. So we can put controls on here, so you can turn on your strobes and your landing light directly off one of these panels as well. So almost any combination can be managed through this unit. But as I said before, what's really cool is it mounts through the firewall, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
Because in order to do that, the test is 2,000 degrees, flying 2,000 degrees for 15 minutes. And so pretty much everything melts at that. It still doesn't. And this is a stainless steel plate. But in order to maintain the firewall integrity, this stainless steel plate you see here runs all the way through the unit. There is literally a 1/8 by 1/4 hole in the middle of the plate, and that's got a shield behind it to ensure that anything. So this allows you to actually put it through the firewall
Safely.
Yeah, and then the firewall gets sandwiched around it
Yeah.
to make sure you get the integrity of the firewall. So then you end up with a much smaller penetration here than if you had a bundle of cables going through the firewall.
Right.
Because the insulation burns away, of course, and then you end up with that space around the wire. The copper won't, depending on copper melts at about 2,000 degrees.
Wow, yeah.
So it should hold in.
It might fill the hole.
Yeah, it might start to fill the hole, but of course, once the insulation is built off the outside of it, you do end up with a gap. So this is a much smaller penetration.
Wow.
In the firewall. So we put a lot of work into this. This has been in development for some time. We're really pleased about it and the level of interest we've got here at Oshkosh.
And if you want to monitor the information from your instruments and from your engine monitor computer,
Yep.
how do you do that?
On board or
On board. Yeah.
It's on board. You've got a whole range of different screens.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, like, yeah. If you want to capture your data,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, so if you want to take the data off, then we have an app. Everyone has an app, right? We have an
cool.
app. Our app allows you to control everything. It completely configure the system, but also allows you to you use it in flight for typing in your altitudes and everything else. So you can do all of that stuff on the app. But what you can also do is capture the flight. It will automatically capture all your flight data.
Okay.
Not just your engine data, but all your flight data. And uploads it to the cloud at the end of every flight.
Wow, that's nice.
So we've got a little bit more work to do on the portal for how that comes out.
Okay.
But you're going to be able to look at all of your data and analyze your flights. So if you do have an exceedance or somewhere on the engine, you want to know what's happening. You're not just going to get the engine data for that. You're actually going to know what airspeed you're at, what the outside air temperature was, know what altitude you were at, what your maneuver was at the time. So you got a whole rich set of data around whatever that was.
Okay.
Obviously great for flying schools and clubs, because they can monitor they can monitor flights immediately afterwards and feed that back to students and have that much richer discussion.
Thanks for joining, and stay tuned for more at Oshkosh 2025 on Silva Adventures.